Tony D and Little Joan somewhere in the house, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Bordello from Level 33 Entertainment about a Bordello. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 11, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. This appears to me to be a very low budget affair. Low budget in that, so low that I think they actually shot this in houses people live in. See, like this shot right here. This is supposed to take place, I think, in the Wild West. And I'm pretty sure in the background here there's a light bulb. And I would assume this took place before light bulbs were a thing. But maybe not. Maybe not. But it definitely has like a modern look in a couple of the shots. And this doesn't, but it doesn't look like a town that's been used. It looks like like one of those touristy western towns that they use for westerny things. So it's about a bordello. The trailer throws in a bunch of elements that don't really come together. I guess it centers around a bordello. There's some of the girls. This guy's reading to one of the girls for some reason. This guy's selling some sort of snake oil in the form of a machine that is like Viagra, apparently. I'm not sure where that comes from. Then there's a subplot about a slave. So you got to figure this is slave times. So there's no way there's electricity. Because he's talking about selling his slave to some woman. I don't know what the plot is of this movie. It's all over the map. It's just got all these elements in it. There's a preacher, and then the girls shoot the Bible out of his hand because that's a thing. Because the preacher is trying to lead them out of sin. I mean, it's called Bordello. Bordello is it's a whorehouse. That's what it is. In case you don't know. So I'm not sure who are the cut. I guess this is one, and she doesn't have the look of to me, she doesn't look like a woman who's in the Wild West bordello. Also looks like there might be a street back there. See, that's what I mean. Like if the shots are so tight, even this shot here, like you might get away with a chandelier. They had chandeliers at that time. They just weren't electric, right? You just don't turn it on and it's fine. But I bet above this shot there might be electric lights. But they framed it in such a way that they didn't need to show it, maybe. Maybe not. And then this guy just shoots this guy in the street. You know, that's a big thing in the Wild West movies, gunfights. And, not to mention, if it's slave times, then what's the deal with this guy? He's talking about selling this other woman, and his friend is a guy, a black guy. That's weird. I assume these are the bordello girls. I assume, but it doesn't say that, and they're not dressed. They're just dressed in nightgown. Like, what is going on with this movie? It's supposed to be a western. It doesn't feel like a western. It doesn't feel like it's in the desert. This kind of feels westerny right there, that shot. But there's a lot of, like, I don't know, pine trees in the background and stuff. I don't know, man. This appears to have a lower budget than Go West, which I looked at a few days ago. Now, I'm not knocking the actors. They're trying their best. But the shots are like this. This shot right here, right? That, to me, is to crop out the background. And if you don't have... Now, here's a nice shot. I mean, but that doesn't look like out west. That looks like New Jersey. That, to me, the trees look all wrong on that. But I don't know. Maybe it takes place somewhere further east. But if you're gonna do this, you need a script that's tight. You definitely need a script that's like completely on point, because it has to make up for your lack of props and scenery and all that kind of stuff. The actors seem fine. You just needed a better script, and this script is kind of all over the place in terms of, at least in terms of the trailer. Now maybe it's just a bad trailer, but it's usually an indication to me. No other information either. Just says Bordello official trailer Western. Feels very generic. Feels very generic. I don't like the lighting either. I just, you know, the cowboy shot. This is the best shot in the film. This is a really nice shot. Everything else seems kind of like too tight. Too tight. And I'm not buying it. I don't know. There's something missing from this. Maybe sepia tone would have helped. I don't know. A little sepia. Just a little bit. These guys, not really buying their deal either. It doesn't feel like a full world. It feels very empty in the trailer. It you know, it feels hollow and empty. Like you needed at least one scene where at least the sound, right? The sound would be the indicator. Like you don't have to shoot it. Like obviously these people didn't have the ability to say, "Oh, let's get a crane shot and, you know, shoot the entire town, you know, from a crane and have all, you know, hundreds of extras." Okay, you don't have that. But you can make the illusion of that using sound, right? You could give that impression. Like you could have a guy walk into a saloon, couple of extras, that's all you need, and then the sound would indicate there's many more people, right? And then maybe meet somebody on the way to the saloon and they're talking, and then you hear the sound in the background, and it sounds kind of like the din of dozens of people in town. And maybe you don't show it, but you hear it, and it kind of just implies it. Really needed that shot. And not for nothing, that's the one thing you could do if you don't have the budget for the sets. You could have one day where you have a couple of dozen extras in costume, you know, and just have them mill about and have the characters walk in and out for a couple of the shots to make the town feel like full, I guess. Otherwise, it feels like, yeah, it feels empty. But, all right, I'll take a stab at the plot. First act, it's called Bordello, so it's probably about the Bordello. So there's it seems to be a guy who's in charge of the Bordello, and various things are happening. One of the girls gets spooked by something. I don't know, maybe one of the Johns attacks her or something. They get pestered by the local pastor, and then something in the plot probably about gunfighters coming into town. Somebody gets killed or is coming into town that kills somebody. Second act, there's a subplot about, I think another madam maybe, trying to buy a girl. Maybe. Or she's a slave. I can't figure out. Might be that, because that's a gangster thing to buy a girl, quote unquote. You buy out her contract, essentially. It's not, you know, back then it would have been more official. Like, in the modern era, that just would have been like, no, you're going with him. That doesn't seem much of a plot point. It seems like the gunfighting would be more of a plot point. And then at some point, two of the girls, maybe the madam and another girl, pick up guns and, I don't know, fight these cowboys and protect the Bordello, which is in the middle of nowhere. Third act, they succeed or become prostitute gunfighters. I don't know. It's a very vague trailer. You watch it. You watch it and you tell me if you would watch this movie. Would I watch it? You know how much I love Westerns. Almost any Western I've seen the trailer for, I said, oh, I'd watch that. This would be a tough sell. Like, there's just no way I'd go out of my way at any level to see this film because it looks like it didn't come together. Now, that being said, since I said that, if I did see it on VOD and I didn't have to pay for it, I'd check it out just to see if it was that bad. So if it shows up on Netflix or free on Amazon or something, yeah, I'd look at it just to see if it was as bad as I thought, if I even remember it. But it's kind of forgettable. I mean, if you're going to do a Western called Bordello, and you're going to have the girls be the gunfighters, sex them up. Put them in lingerie. Like, I want to see Bordello girls whipping out guns and shooting dudes in lingerie. Because it's already a ridiculous premise. Why not sex it up a little bit? You have the perfect excuse to do that. Make it a fun movie. I mean, this is not... It doesn't appear to me to be a very, very serious movie. And it's not fun enough that I would consider, oh, that looks fun and crazy. Like, at this point, I mean, it probably would have been better off to be a comedy. You should have gotten the Go West guys. Gotten them involved. That movie looks fun. This movie looks like it's struggling to be something. And I hate to not... I mean, I'm not knocking the actors. I'm not knocking people who put together a movie. It's very tough. But I'm just telling you the way it looks to me. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not trying to kick some people while they're down, so to speak. But if this is a good movie, then you need a better trailer, I would say. It needs to be completely recut. Something that would show us what the thread of this movie is. Is it that the Bordello girls have to become gunfighters to protect the Bordello? That's not a bad plot. Show us more of that. And if you got all these side things about the snake oil salesman and selling off a girl and stuff like that, like, leave that out of the trailer. That's just distraction. You have a 2-minute window to sell the movie to viewers. You're putting it on YouTube. People see stuff on YouTube. Look, you only had 28 people. You had 28 people vote it. How many views did you get? Well, you had 10,000 views. That's pretty good. You want these people to see the movie. 28 upvotes and you had 10,000 views. That's not a lot. Not a lot of upvotes. So I think you need a recut. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Jones, somewhere in the house. I got to get ready for the live stream. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you at 7 where we do it live.